One of the fundamental rights in America is that you can defend yourself from danger, especially when an angry mob of Black Lives Matter supporters bust through a private gate and then threaten to storm your home. You know who we're talking about now. But in liberal St. Louis, instead of prosecuting the criminals with a crime, they charge the law-abiding. Mark and Patricia McCloskey have been indicted by a grand jury for, you ready, unlawful use of a weapon and evidence tampering during that standoff between them and the mob. And by the way, the 9 people charged with trespassing that night will not be prosecuted, we are told. The district attorney is declining to do that. The DA and the grand jury both have it backwards. Please welcome, folks, to the program, Mark and Patricia McCloskey. Both of you, it's good to see you. I'm so sorry that we have to deal with this nonsense still, but Patricia, if I could start with you. The governor has said he's been willing to pardon the both of you if convicted. Why do we have to wait? Both of you are attorneys. Why do we have to wait, Patricia? Why can't he just absolve you of any wrongdoing right now?
Well, we looked at that, and we had the lawyers look at it, and the secretary, the governor's attorneys looked at that. And before around 1840, that was a doer. But now I think about 1920, they changed the law, so we actually have to be convicted before. We have to go through the whole process, be convicted, and then we get pardoned.
You know, and not only does this take your time, it's stressful, it costs money, but it's based off of lies and the fundamental principle that both of you have a right to defend yourselves. Mark, there's charge of tampering with evidence. Last you and I talked, they were the ones that put back together a non-working firearm that your wife was using. If anybody tampered with evidence, it was them. What does that charge surround?
You know, I don't know, and we won't know because it's a sealed indictment until next Wednesday when you show back up at court. We have no idea what they allege that we did or what we allegedly tampered with. But let me get this right, Grant. The president, the vice president, the director of the CIA, the director of the FBI, they can fake evidence against a president of the United States. They don't get charged. They fake evidence against me, and I get charged, and Patty gets charged.
Well, this is what happens when you put liberals in charge, and this really should be a message for the rest of the country. This is what happens if you were going to put Joe Biden in charge of the nation. So, Patricia, now you have to deal with all of this. What has life been like? You know, it's been a month or two since we've talked. How are you?
Well, it's, you think that this is coming, this indictment, because anybody can be indicted, but it is kind of upsetting when it actually happens. And we've been doing a lot of traveling for on the Trump team, and that's been really invigorating because people love the president. They love him, and you just feel it. It's palpable everywhere we go. And so that is something that's really, encouraged us that the numbers are much different for the president than they tell us in the polls.
You know, Mark, back to your case, the district attorney here now, I just saw documents that prove that George Soros has been funding her as one of those district attorneys that is known to be weak on crime, that he wants to institute across the country, including he's got one in Los Angeles he's throwing millions at. What do you make of that now and the persecution of people like yourself, law-abiding, and letting all these criminals skate?
You know, and 250 people were arrested for looting and arson and assault. 4 cops got shot that night on June 1st, June 2nd in St. Louis. She's not prosecuting any of those people. She's leapfrogged our case over hundreds, if not thousands, of serious felonies, murders, rapes, arsons. The Soros-funded prosecutors like chaos. They like the mob rule because out of tyranny, out of chaos comes tyranny, and the more they can incite violence, the more they can intimidate people into giving up their rights, intimidate people to keep them from standing up. We are being persecuted for having the gall to stand up and defend our own home on our own property, not firing a shot. No one got hurt. Yeah. The Catholics Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And not to mention, Mark, even your wife's firearm, even as I read the statute, there's no way she can be charged under this because it wasn't even working at the time they put it back together, and all you were doing was exercising your rights laid out in the Constitution. Both of you, thank you for standing up and being strong through all of this. You're both powerful voices, Mark and Patricia McCloskey. Always good to see you. Thanks for coming on tonight.
You too,
Thank you, Grant.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.